The Squier Classic Vibe Strat. Could it be the best beginner guitar on the market? I won't be able to say that, but I will be able to say if it's good, if it's bad, if it's okay, or if it's very good, or if it's totally crap. So that's what we'll be checking out today. Today. Alright, so today we're checking out this candy apple red Squier Classic Vibe Strat. It's the 60s version. The finish on this looks absolutely great. So when I'm checking out guitars, I do look at the finish as well, because it can give you kind of indication of how well it's been made and so on. So I bought this guitar. It cost 385 euros here in Europe. That would be roughly $400, although I don't know how much it goes for in the States. Again, you can leave a comment letting me know. I've previously tried the Squier Affinity Strat, which is $200-ish, and wasn't entirely convinced by it. It had its pros and its cons. And today I'm taking a look at this as a kind of beginner guitar. I've said previously, and I still think this, that if you're buying a guitar, your first guitar and your first amp, invest a bit more in the guitar. And if you're buying a Squier Classic Vibe Strat, that's a bit more than an Affinity. But you can save on the amp, and should be totally worth it. Now, this one looks absolutely great when compared to the Affinity Strat. I mean, it just looks and feels like a proper guitar when you hold it. I've tried it out a bit already. It's your standard Strat type thing. It has the rosewood fretboard, which looks a lot better than on the Affinity. Now I'm comparing it to the Affinity, and that's not the point. I'll do a separate video like that. But still, the fretboard looks nice. The fret ends are, I've had it for a week now, are starting to stick out a teensy-weensy bit, but this is not major in the case of this guitar. It might get worse. Now I've found that when you buy cheaper guitars, you can often get fret ends that stick out, and that can be really annoying and actually painful. Some of the parts, probably fairly cheap, affordable stuff, but you can always upgrade pickups and pots and selectors and all that stuff. The main thing is the actual instrument. I've taken the back plates off. I always do that so that I can set up the guitar the way I want it. I roughly set it up. And I'm liking the way it feels, except for the fact that the frets are really, really small. I like large frets, and I like scalloped fretboards, but it feels nice, and the color is just great. So that's just way too much yapping. I'm going to try this out with my Marshall Plexi, a kind of clean-ish crunch-y tone, and also an overdriven tone. So let's see what it sounds like. So first off, let's see if everything works. Yeah, that works. And tone. Yeah, so that can be a good thing to check out. Besides, the tone pots can be wired slightly differently in different strats. This is the way I like it, because sometimes this tone pot isn't wired to this pickup at all, but I like to have it wired there because I like to do Jeff Beck type of stuff. It's still a bit, should set it up a bit better, but it's fine. Okay, so let's check out the pickups. Bridge pickup. I don't remember how that song goes. Don't know what I'm playing. How does it feel? It feels really... I mean, I was about to say it feels really nice. Let me clarify. It feels really nice for the price. But it feels like a proper guitar. I don't think the Affinity did, and other beginner guitars that I've tried haven't really done that either. Now, why I think that's so important is because, let's say you start playing, or let's say you're a parent and you're unsure if your kid actually wants to play. It might be that your kid's 10 years old and says, "I want a guitar, mommy, because I want to rock like Little Wayne," or something. And you're unsure, so you don't want to spend too much money on a guitar because it will just be a waste. You're afraid it'll be a wasted investment. The thing is, you buy a new guitar, the value will go down, especially on cheap guitars. But if you buy a crummy guitar that doesn't feel nice, you actually just increase the chances of that person your child not actually wanting to play because the guitar feels like rubbish. Or if you're buying your first guitar, it pays to buy at least a decent instrument, because nothing's worse than playing on something that really blows and sucks at the same time. Okay, so let's go over to slightly more distorted sounds. I remember Paris in '49. Yeah, different song. Sounding very nice. Let's add a bit more overdrive and see how metal you can get with this thing. Okay, so when you have a bit more overdrive going on, these are single coil pickups, so you will get a lot of extra noise. I have the Fender Yngwie Malmsteen overdrive, which makes a lot of noise just on its own, so if I turn off the noise gate and then open the volume, you'll see what I mean. You can counteract that with selecting a middle position where you get two pickups. That cancels out the extra noise from the pickups. So it doesn't do anything when you play. Yeah, you can drop tune it and do. It feels, like I said, for the price. Actually, for the price, I think it feels great. For me, is this something that I would use? Maybe, even in a pinch, I might. But somehow it feels almost like home. When I pick up a Strat, if it's good, it feels like home, even though it's not one of my Strats, even though it might be set up slightly weirdly for me, it just feels like home. And this kind of does as well. There are a couple of things that are slightly weird for me. The frets, they're too small, like bigger frets. But the fret ends, even those aren't really bothering me, even though they're slightly sticking out. Kind of maybe the bottom line is: should you invest what is a fair amount of money on a beginner guitar and get one of these instead of something cheaper? I can't give you a blanket yes or no statement, but I mean, this feels really good compared to a lot of the cheaper stuff. How well it stands the test of time, I don't know, but judging by the finish and judging by the way it feels, it should be just fine. You might have to swap out the pickups, and you might prefer to do that. And these are easy enough. You just get hot rails or something like that if you want proper humbucker stuff. If you want stacked humbuckers for a clean kind of single coil type sound, you can do that. You can just mod this into any kind of Strat you want. I think it feels very nice. Yeah, so basically, I buy the gear that I review, and I do that partly with the help of the good people who support me on Patreon. Thank you to everyone who does, and please consider joining me on Patreon because you get all of my music for free when you do. And if you don't want to pay anything, you can just bugger off and take the music. But this means that I can say anything that I want honestly about anything that I review. And I must say, I really recommend this. I like this guitar. There. That's basically it. If you want to watch more of my gear reviews, there is a playlist here somewhere. Other than that, click like, hit subscribe if you haven't already. Why haven't you? Hit subscribe. Comment, let me know what you thought, and yeah, join me on Patreon. Because I try to give you people a lot of stuff over there. Other than that, I hope to see you in another video. Take care. Goodbye!